Hey Sirius Starseeds, welcome to Starseed Energetics. My name is Bora and I'm gonna get into your March reading. Before I even go into the cards, I get downloads, precognitive messages, and one that was coming up really clear for you was that your experience of reality basically is getting more and more clear, and clear perception has a lot to do with your third eye as well. But the highest expression of your third eye isn't really about peering into other dimensions, but peering into whatever dimension you are peering into with a lot of or highest amount of clarity, which is basically with a clear lens with no distortions, which means you don't project any of your personalities into what you're perceiving, and just having this clear sense of awareness into what you're perceiving, which means you have equanimity, like this 0-point energy field, awareness on awareness. So it's almost like having a bubble of invincibility in terms of what you are perceiving, that you are not affected by it in terms of your core essence or your realization of your core essence or your remembrance of your core essence. But you're totally in a different vibe than a lot of the other star systems that I've been reading for, because your throat is completely open, your throat chakra is completely open, which means you've kind of, you know, really broke through challenges in communication recently. It could be that you don't feel awkward to speak your truth anymore to whoever it is that you're speaking to. It doesn't really faze you if they misperceive your message. And a kind of reiteration that I would have for that is, you put out whatever message you want to put out from the frequency of your heart. It doesn't really matter what you're saying, it matters that the energy, where the energy is coming from. And when you put it out from that space, however other people perceive your message is out of your hands. So it's also part of the whole communicative mastery is in letting go of control of how other people would perceive it. It's similar to when artists would create art, and you can't really control how other people will take your art. Like, some people will deconstruct your art in a way that maybe you don't like, but that was your whole purpose. For that person, that serves them to analyze your art in that kind of way. And for songs as well, people are gonna just take the songs that you've written and make whatever they want out of it. They're gonna say, oh, this song is about my life, when it's not about their life. You know, like, for example, so, you know, I'm just reiterating probably some of the most profound realizations that you had in terms of communicating with other people. And also, communication isn't just about who you're communicating with or what you're communicating, but also when, how, and where. So knowing how to speak to people that is most resonant for them, so you kind of vibe out the other person's energy, what they're ready to hear, how they're ready to hear it, and having the compassion to not just talk about something in the way that you love the most, but just in a way that meets them halfway, for instance. But yeah, that's not your, that was past, but now it's all about your third eye. So it does make sense in terms of linear progression, where you work on your throat chakra and then your third eye. Wow, so you're on track. But basically with your third eye, it's all about having an experience of the ultimate level of consciousness while you're perceiving still this dimension. So how that's going to translate into your life, right? How that's going to translate into your daily life is something, it goes something like this. When you are interacting with other people, because other people are such a visceral reflection of your consciousness, and the internal kind of dynamics that go on inside, because it is so vast to consider your internal landscape, that's why we have this external projection, so that we can look at things with a zoomed in lens. And so whenever, just consider for a moment, you get nervous around certain people, but you don't get nervous around certain people. Or like when you walk down the street, some people just make you cringe or make you feel self-conscious. Like, these are some of the things that I'm trying to portray to you in terms of how this will play out. it's not, when you get to this level of clear perception, right, that means your experience is on a level that is absolutely higher density. So almost to a level where you're a clear conduit of the experience that's occurring. That means you're not the one that's nervous, but you're picking up their nervousness. Or if it's a belief system that you're all of a sudden forming around a certain person but not others, or if your tendency is to lie about small things around certain people but that's not your usual kind of character, you're picking up their energy field. Do you ever like feel when you're interacting with a certain person, you just end up lying about small things that don't even matter? You have to be really mindful to notice things like this, but that means in their energy field there's a lot of deception in terms of how they project themselves into the world, and so you end up doing that. So be very mindful. Like for example, for me as a girl walking down the street, there's people who like stare or like just, you know, probably just, I don't know, just interested or attracted or something, and then a lot of them just really make me cringe, or like it makes me feel insecure. But then I quickly realized like this insecurity isn't coming from me, because why would I be insecure that they're attracted to me? They're insecure because they're attracted to me and they're insecure, and then I'm picking up their energy, and then I'm, you know, sometimes tripping out like, why do I feel insecure? But it's not my energy. So this is the kind of mentality that I'd love for you to adopt, because you're getting to a level with this clear perception where in a lot of situations you're simply this, you know, lens of clarity, which means you're reflecting whatever's around you, which are essentially at the end of the day previous paradigms of yours. So your physical reality is basically an echo of a past timeline in this linear reality that we're living through. So maybe, I'm not saying that insecurity is foreign to you, but it must have been something in the past that you no longer resonate with now, but you're observing it as playing out from somebody else's field because you're no longer resonant with it. And if that was your true energy, you probably wouldn't even notice it so much, because you're so used to that being in your field all the time. It's like a fish being in water. It's not going to know what's water because it's always in water. So that's when you know when something triggers you, that it's almost out of your field, or that it's out of your field as a whole. So that was a channeled message that wanted to come through a lot before I get into your cards. I have Reina Anubis. Look, I don't even know how to read these cards. Honestly, my best friend Philippe gave me these cards from Mexico, and I don't read Spanish, and the freaking thing is in Spanish. But you know what? This energy is literally Syrian energy, right? This is so freaking Syrian. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Guys, I don't know. I have to get acquainted with this deck. So I'm just gonna let this energy be there. I'm not gonna really read into that. I don't know. Yeah, but eventually I guess I'll learn it. But the thing with tarot cards too, guys, it's like, and crystals, when you first get a deck, they need to become acquainted with you. You can't just start using it. Well, like, at least in my paradigm, I like to give it space in my reality to get to know my energy and get acquainted with my other tools, because when I first get it, it's like kind of resistant, shy almost. Depends on the deck as well. Some of them just kind of really jump out at you to be, it's like, you know, just jumping out at you. But most decks, you need to let it be in your field before it starts to cooperate with you. Some decks take a really long time. Like the Thoth deck took me a while before I even got to this guy. It's got a strong character. This one, however, was like right as soon as we met, it was like jumpy. But yeah, I don't know what, I just felt like putting that out there in case there's readers who are interested, or people who are interested in getting into tarot, to let you know that these things are a morphogenic field of its own. So even, sure, that's the tarot, but they're all so different. And like the Thoth deck, for example, has a complete different morphogenic field of all the people who use this deck and all the tradition behind this deck, like all the magic that has been created from this line of decks, versus like this one. They're all conscious, and I'm not saying that the cards themselves are sentient, but the energy behind these decks are absolutely fucking, they all have character, and they all are beings that require a lot of respect before you can just like try to do anything with them. You gotta treat them kind of like friends, or you know, you wouldn't just try to try to like go all out with somebody you just met, right? Unless they're like seriously karmically connected to you. Anyways, sometimes I don't know why I'm ranting so much, but you guys seem to resonate with a lot of my rants, so it's okay, right? Center of your spread is the star. Definite activation from Sirius. Sirius is freaking blowing up these days. Like the Sirian energy, definitely one of my favorite energies. Like I bask in it, I invoke it, and I bask in it. But if you have never worked with the energy of Sirius, which is like literally the brightest observable star in the sky, and it's just got tremendous life force behind that entire system with the most beautiful beings. Well, I'm not gonna say most beautiful beings out of all of them, but just they're just so crisp and charming, Sirians. And that the sun itself, because look, if I go into the metaphysics of star systems, basically each sun, which is the star, like for us, we have a sun. We don't really name our sun, but for the sake of referencing it like Ra, our sun, oh, there's like a lot of resistance when I there's a lot of resistance from the collective of Ra when I equated our sun with Ra. They're like, that you can't do that, but because for the sake of tradition they call Ra the sun god, so that's just a nickname, okay? Chill. Is its own kind of interpretation of oneness that's fractalized onto our solar system. And so our solar system is basically the reflection of the individuation, which is our sun, which is a masculine expression of the source, but it's an individuation for certain. So Sirius is also an individuation, and actually our suns are binary star systems, which means our sun Ra, not the collective Ra, but the nickname Ra, and Sirius have a harmonic relationship, like a geometric relationship in how they rotate. So if you are not familiar with the notion of the traveling sun, the sun doesn't actually sit still in the universe. The sun actually moves, and it's like a helix movement with all the solar system counterparts. It creates this spiral, almost like DNA strands. Yeah, so I don't know. The Sirian sun is definitely in some kind of holomorphic freaking resonance with you, and means a lot of things that we're just about to find out right now. I don't know yet, I haven't flipped it, so I just kind of lay them face down just in case you don't know that, and then I flip as I go because I like surprises. Justice, the Fool. Oh man, there's like a lot of repeating cards between you and Arcturus and Pleiades. So I would recommend, if you have the time and if you enjoy my readings, to tune into Pleiadian reading and Arcturian. And you know, even if you don't resonate with the messages for the month, basically I channel each star system, and that means there's that entire energy of the collective encoded in the video. And honestly, 60 to 70% of the entire reading and the effects that you feel are energetic. It's not really coming from the words. Anyway, whatever you thought you had missed out in the past, like anything that you had felt like it was sold short, it was like a shortcoming from the universe, or like you tried a lot to get something done or make something happen, or you just feel like you put in so much effort, and even though you got some results out of it, it just doesn't feel like it's not a harsh energy, but more so like just disappointed. That was in the past. That is being healed, and that is being justified for what is about to occur throughout this month. And you know, if I say something like this, you don't necessarily have to predict that something is gonna happen, but sometimes it means that it's gonna lead you to a portal, or lead you to a pathway that's gonna literally end up there. It depends on your energy. You can get this as much as you will allow it in. So just be open to a lot of change, and be ready to see these spilled opportunities that you thought you had missed out on. So one of the worst phrases that I don't resonate with at all is like, oh, you only get one chance, or like a missed opportunity, blah blah blah. Like if you miss a door of opportunity, it never comes again. I'm like, shut the fuck up, like you don't even know anything. And even though that might not be your belief system, there's a part of you that must believe that, because it's part of the human matrix conditioning system, is to make you feel like there's certain things in life that you, if you don't take the chance, then it doesn't come back, or like, oh, there's only one true love in your life, stuff like that. Like the only reason why that actually unfolds is because people start to believe it, and then when they start to believe it, they just experience it because they don't allow the other shit to come in. But whatever it is, you're moving past that, and you're gonna see that you had never really missed an opportunity. But this feels like super deep-seated. So think back, tune back into your past, and there was a certain moment in your life where you felt like some turn of events occurred in 1 year of your life, and this feels like way in the past. It doesn't feel like anything recent. It must be like your life was going well to your perspective, and then one huge turn of events happened, and you felt like that was just the wrong turn, and likely you kept reminiscing on, what if I did something else, or what if that didn't happen? And this kind of comparison thoughts was a natural recurring pattern in your consciousness. But all of a sudden things are about to make sense, that the wrong turn was the best fucking turn of your life. Great. Foundation, 9 of Pentacles. It has a lot to do with material, tangible fruition. So, you know, that could be like money, health, you know, physical well-being, including relationships. Whatever you see around you is being completely healed and transformed into the level at which you know you truly desired. Or it's like when you incarnated onto this earth, you had an overall picture or overall frequency, holographic frequency of what this earth life would be like, and that's why you agreed to come here. And then you came here and it was nothing like the overall picture, because your overall picture was basically gauging at whatever you've experienced thus far plus your future timelines, all of the probabilities merged together. And so when you were looking at the trajectory, you're like, hell yeah, I'm agreeing with that. And then up until this point, it feels like this is not what I signed up for, right? So this could even be this past event that I'm talking about. Whatever you remembered from your past is a second sub-dimensional anchoring of the original event, the original turn of events, which is literally your decision to incarnate as a human. And that, you being disappointed over that, like, oh, look at the state of the society, the economy, this fucked up shit. And then it's about to make sense that this was what you signed up for. Wheel of Fortune. Whatever I said is in this card right now. It's the turn of events on the other direction that's gonna really explain why this has been so crappy. And why it is that you thought it was gonna be a complete different experience. Like, now it's gonna balance out the scale to make you realize, okay, like, that was the big picture. And I see you like dropping away all of this discordant emotions, like basically darker frequencies of emotions are programmed loops. So if you're a coder, you know that you have a dysfunctional loop. It kind of crashes and it doesn't let you go past that block of code. It just loops and crashes. Like, that's literally what you're breaking through from with this King of Cups. You know, if you look at the Seven of Cups and this confusion and this inability to move forward, and you finally being able to have your emotional sovereignty, which is basically tuned in with a higher level of feeling, which is not emotions. Emotions are artificial. Emotions are generated basically from the moon, which our moon, guys, is artificial. It's not a real moon. Like, we did have a moon that was natural, but the current moon that we have is artificial. Like, if you just take a moment to think about how the moon has a dark side that we never get to face, what is that? Like, do you think that's natural? No. Anyway, it's a base. It's a neutral base for whichever civilizations are overseeing our evolution, you know, because it's very close to us. And it's also got this agenda of, you know, the emotional matrix. And had it not been for the moon's false electromagnetic frequency generation, we would have a complete different relationship with our sun in terms of how we decode its information, because the sun is literally our source of all information. Like, we're made of photons. That's our father. And imagine if this fake artificial satellite moon is literally in a position to hinder our holistic decoding of the sun, right? That's basically what you're moving out of. So that also means that your solar body is coming into full bloom. If you don't know what that means, it's okay. Maybe you'll research it later, but I'm not gonna get into that whole spiel right now. But just to sum it up, actually, your light body has so many different levels. It's not just about your Merkaba. There's like levels and levels to this shit. And solar body is absolute top-notch level, getting encoded. And that, I think that has a lot to do with the Sirian infusion that I was talking about, the Sirian stars, the star itself, and that you having a direct quantum non-local relationship with the star of Sirius. Okay, that was a freaking intense reading. I'm gonna pull some oracle cards and then I'm gonna let you go. Anchor your energy. You're not alone. So what I'm immediately getting right now is, yeah, the negative cycle. This is exactly what I meant with the emotional loops. This negative cycle of the emotional loops, like you're breaking through from that. But now I have this is the energy of this card is super Sirian. Like, look at all the blues. Basically having a soul braid. So probably a lot of you don't know what that means, but it just means that you're braiding together different counterparts of your oversoul from high. That's what's happening, and that's what you're integrating. And right now you need a lot of deep reflection to anchor all this energy and all this kind of merging with, especially like the Sirian energy is very fucking intense. It's not a joke. So you need to, if you're not the kind of person who take regular measures to keep a safe distance from your external reality in order to assimilate energies, like, you're gonna have obviously more social months, but this time looks like, as much as you possibly can, respect your boundaries and respect your integration time. So if you're getting a lot of information, a lot of changes, don't fucking go and try to, you know, when you have free time, to go read another book or go to another seminar. Like, chill out on your bed and like sleep or meditate or something. The portal is open for the Syrian kind of soul braid. That's basically what's happening. The portal is very, very clear. Like, it's reiterated in every single card. Here, 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 and here. And that's a synchronicity full house. Okay, so be well, take care of yourself, take some rest, and to thank you for tuning in. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye.